Good day, everyone. We are the Group 6 and we are assigned to discuss about UMS or the unattended machinery spaces, also documentation and certification. Documentation requirements such as Regulation 22, 24, 25, and 29 that will be discussed along the way. And including certification process and authority, importance of documentation during inspection and audits, and lastly, examples of detentions due to missing or invalid certificate. I am Midshipwoman Sanchez, and I will be going to discuss the UMS purpose, alarms, and also the monitoring. UMS purpose: reducing crew workload and manning requirements. UMS allows ship to operate machinery spaces without constant human presence. So, yung UMS is nakakatulong siya para mabawasan yung workload ng mga engine crew and magkaroon ng time makipagpahinga logically and physically. But, we cannot rely to UMS 100%. So, minsan, pwede pa rin ito magkaroon ng failure and false alarm. Need pa rin ng actual person na mag-rounds or mag-inspect sa engine rooms to prove na wala talagang problems. Next, supporting modern maritime technology integration. UMS represents a step forward in maritime automation. So, yung pagkakaroon ng UMS is nakakatulong para mas maging efficient yung pagpapatakbo and makasabay yung barko sa modern standard sa maritime industry. And also, sa pamamagitan ng UMS, nagagamit yung mga advanced sensor, alarm systems, and remote monitoring tools. Then, improving safety. UMS includes alarms and safety system. So, yung UMS is merong mga automatic alarms, sensor monitoring, and iba pang safety safeguards na nagbabantay sa kalagayan ng mga machines and yung buong engine rooms. And also, nakakatulong din to para mabawasan yung mga accidents or malfunction na pwedeng ikasira ng mga machines and other equipments. So, UMS have a equipment called deadman alarm. It is a safety device also known as deadman's alarm switch that monitors for the presence and alertness of a lone worker by requiring periodic manual resets. If the required resets does not occur within a set time limit, a series of alarm is triggered. So, I have example here. First, when engine crew is magkakandak ng inspection or rounds, need niya muna sabihan yung duty officer sa bridge bago pumasok sa engine room. So, para malaman ng bridge na merong tao sa engine room in case na merong mangyaring accident. So, after that, need deactivate ng engine crew yung deadman's alarm. Para kapag hindi na-reset yung alarm within the right time, mag-a-alarm ito and malalaman ng iba crew na merong emergency. Then, after that, pwede na siyang mag-conduct na inspections sa mga machines. And after 24 minutes, need niya ulit i-reset yung deadman's alarm. So, ginagawa yung pag-reset ng alarm para habang nasa loob siya ng engine room, hindi to mag-false alarm and malaman ng duty officer sa bridge na okay ka pa rin sa engine room. So, after that, inspection ulit. bago lumabas yung engine crew, kailangan niya muna patayin yung dead man's alarm. And sabihan yung duty officer sa bridge na tapos na siya sa rounds. Lastly, UMS alarms and monitoring. UMS alarm system are crucial safety components designed to monitor engine room machinery conditions and alert crew members remotely during unattended operation. And these alarms include, first is yung machinery fault alarms. So, it is a critical part of unmanned machinery spaces monitoring system, especially on ships. This alarm continuously monitor key engine room equipments, including the pumps, generators, and main engines for any mechanical faults. So, example nun is yung pump begin to overheat or mawalan na ng lubrication. The fault alarm triggers immediately, so allowing quick intervention to prevent damage or failure. Then, fire detection alarms. Syempre, it is designed to detect the earliest sign of fire, such as smoke, heat, or flames, and quickly alert occupants and emergency responders, including engine crew. Then lastly, dead man's alarm. So it is a safety feature employed in unmanned machinery spaces to protect engineers working alone. So for example, no, if yung engineer is nagwo-work and naging incapacitated sa engine room, the dead man's alarm system ensure that other crew will be alerted immediately and they can take actions to prevent other accidents.
UMS safety challenges. Transition between manned and unmanned modes. Switching between manned and unmanned operation requires careful procedures to ensure safety. Timely response to alarms. Alarm must be promptly noticed and acted upon by engineers who are not physically present in the machinery space. Reliability of automation and alarms. Since machinery space are unmanned during UMS operation, the proper functioning of the automatic sensors, alarm, and control system is critical. The UMS or unmanned machinery space safety challenges transition between manned and unmanned modes. One of the major challenges in UMS operation is the safe transition between manned and unmanned modes of the machinery space. This process requires strict adherence to standard procedures to avoid overlooking potential hazards. During the transition, all systems must be checked for normal operation, alarm must be tested, and equipment performance must be verified to ensure that no abnormalities are present before the engine room is left unmanned. Failure to proper protocols during the critical period may be lead to unducted faults, delayed responses, or accident that called unducted compromises the safety of both the vessel is crew. Timely response to alarm. In USM mode, engineers are not physically present in the machinery space, which make quick response to alarms a significant challenge. All alarms are transmitted to design control panels, officer cabins, or duty station, but the absence of on-site personnel can cause delay in identifying and addressing the problem. A timely reaction is essential as certain alarms may indicate serious issues such as cert- machinery overheating, fuel leaks, or loss of lubrication, which can escalate rapidly if untended. This requires effective alarms management system, well-trained engineers, and reliability communication channels to ensure that alarms are not ignored or responded too late.
Hello everyone, I'm Bichi Mansalas and I will explain these slides about Regulation 22 Stability Information. Let's begin. With Regulation 22 of SOLAS, which is about stability information, this regulation requires every ship to carry stability information that is essential for safe operation throughout its entire service life. This information is very important because it helps the master or the captain to properly assess the ship's stability under different conditions. It covers both intact stability when the ship has no damage and the damaged stability, which refers to situations where the ship might be damaged. In other words, Regulation 22 ensures that the captain always has the right data to check if the ship is safe and stable before making. Hello everyone, I'm Bichi Mansalas. Regulation 22 Key Documentation Requirements. Now, let's look at the key documentation requirements under this regulation. Ship must carry updated and accurate stability booklets. These booklets contain curves, diagram, and data for different loading conditions, drop, trim, and hills angles. This allows the crew to understand how the ship will behave when cargo or weight distribution changes. Another important requirement is recording any modification to ship's lightship condition. This includes any changes in weight, equipment, or shifts in the center of gravity. By keeping these records updated, the ships avoid potential stability problems, which is very important for safety at sea. Regulation, Regulation 24 Passenger Ship Damage Stability. Next, we move on to Regulation 24, which focuses on passenger ships. This regulation is about passenger ship damage stability. Unlike cargo ships, passenger ships carry a very large number of people, so their safety requirements are stricter. Regulation 24 requires that all passenger ships must be designed and constructed in such way that they will remain stable and buoyant even after sustaining damage. For example, if a passenger ship collides with another vessel or hits an underwater obstacle that causes flooding, this regulation ensures that ships can still float and will not immediately capsize. This gives time for rescue operation and evacuations procedure if necessary. The main goal is to protect lives at sea and to make sure that even if the worst case scenario, the vessel still has ability to remain afloat and safe for as long as possible. This is very important because history has shown the passenger ship accident can be extremely tragic. By strengthening the requirements for damage stability, SOLAS aim to reduce the risk of large-scale loss of life. Regula- Regulation 24 Key Documentation Requirements. Now, let us discuss the documentation requirements under Regulation 24. Passenger ships are required to carry a damage control plan and stability booklet. These documents must clearly explain how the ship subdivided into watertight compartments and how stability is maintained after damage. With these documents, the, the crew will know exactly how to respond and what to do in case of emergency, such as collision or flooding. In addition, there are specific rules for larger passenger ships. In a ship carries more than 400 passengers, it must have an addition watertight subdivision located of the collision bulkhead. The collision bulkhead is a strong wall inside the ship that is meant to stop water from spreading too far in case of an accident. By recruiting more subdivisions, this regulation increases the ship's chance of survival even after severe damage.
My name is Shane Trimore, and I'm about to explain what SOLAS Regulation 25 is. Regulation 25 addresses cargo ship damage stability requirements, focusing on subdivision and the ship's ability to remain stable and afloat after sustaining damage such as flooding. SOLAS Regulation 25 is a rule that focuses on safety of cargo ships, especially when they face serious accidents such as flooding caused by hull damage. The main idea of this regulation is to make sure that cargo ships, particularly those that are 80 meters or longer, are built and tested in a way that they can still float and remain stable even if their parts of the ships became damaged. So, in simple terms, Regulation 25 is all about safety in emergencies. It ensures that even if a cargo ship gets destroyed and starts flooding, it can still stay afloat, remain upright, and give the crew enough time to take an action. This rule is one of the reasons why modern ships are much safer and more reliable today.
So good day, I'm Chief Mabilaga. Today I explain about the Regulation 29, Proof of Compliance with Subdivision and Stability Standards. Regulation 29 demands documented evidence verified by testing and certification, confirming that the ship is structurally complies with SOLAS subdivision and stability standards to ensure safety at sea. So I emphasize about this sentence according to SOLAS, safety of at sea. Regulation 29, a ship must have documented proof. So means you will before underway or bago kayo magbaba ng mga kargada nyo, you need to documented proof. For example na dito is yung safety management certificate, minimum safe manning document, master list and emergency instructions, international load line certificate, and marami pa yung iba. So next is you need to meet specific structural standards for subdivision and stability. So about this, you need to meet specific structural standards ng barko nyo. Kaya nga may maintenance yung barko, like pagtitiktik ng kalawang para maging maayos yan, and para na rin sa safety ng mga crew and safety ng barko. So meeting these standards is crucial for maintaining the vessel integrity and safety of those on board. Yun na nga. Then I give a few examples illustrate the importance of SOLAS Regulation 29. So first is a passenger ship undergoes stability testing. The ship is subjected to simulated flooding scenarios to ensure that its watertight and compartments can effectively contain water and maintain stability as required by SOLAS. Next is SOLAS mandates regular emergency drills on tankers to ensure crew readiness. These drills verify that the crew can restore steering capabilities within 45 seconds after a system failure, ensuring quick response to potential hazards. So, yun nga, about dito is emergency drills naman to. So, ginagawa talaga to sa barko para sa kaalaman ng mga crew sa barko kung ano yung gagawin nila in case of emergency tulad ng sunog o pagsabog sa barko. So, continuation tayo about this. Regulation 29. Proof of compliance with subdivision and stability standards. So, key documentation requirements include verification during sea trials or equivalent surveys that the ship design and construction meet stability and subdivision shape requirements. So, this verification process confirms that a ship designs and construction align with stability and subdivision requirements, typically through sea trials or similar surveys. Sea trials are tests conducted after construction to ensure every part of the ship works as expected. These trials assess stability, speed, fuel consumption, and maneuverability and identify any design or construction flaws. The goal is to ensure the ship's seaworthiness and safety before its maiden voyage. So, ano nga ba yung sea trials? Dito sa sea trials is tinitignan lahat ng part ng barko kung gumagana sa bridgeman o sa kobyerta. So, titignan din dito is yung speed ng barko, yung stability o yung katatagan ng barko nyo. So, next is presentation of stability booklets, calculation, and certification demonstrating compliance with approved loading conditions. So, the presentation of stability booklet, calculation, and certification is essential to demonstrate that a ship complies with approved loading conditions. Presenting stability booklets, calculations, and certification demonstrate that a ship complies with approved loading conditions, ensuring it meets safety and regulatory standards. The stability booklet provides essential technical and operational guidelines, while stability calculations confirms stability under various loading scenarios. Certification verify the ship design meets stability requirements. This documentation highlights a commitment to safety, protecting the vessel and crew and cargo. So, dito, yung stability booklets provides essential technical and operational guidelines. So, kailangan nyo ma-meet lahat ng kailangan na papeles sa loading conditions. Then, sa stability requirements, dito pinapakita dito na sumunod kayo lahat sa requirements na kailangan o hinihingi ng para sa barko nyo.
The UMS documents. Certificate of Class and UMS notation. Ship must hold a valid certificate of class with UMS notation confirming that the vessel complies with UMS specific requirements. System tests and maintenance records. Comprehensive records for testing, inspection, and maintenance or monitoring alarm and control system must be kept on board. Certificate of Class and UMS documentations, requirements, Certificate of Class and UMS notation for a vessel to illegally and safety operation with an unmanned machinery space. UMS designation must hold a valid certificate of class issued by recognized classification society, confirmation that the ship's design, construction, and onboard system comply the stringent requirements for unmanned operation. The UMS notation specifically indicates that the machinery, automation, alarm system, and safety agreement have been tested and found capable of functioning without continuous human supervision in the machinery space. Possessing this certification not only ensures regulatory compliance but also provide assurance to ship owner operation. and ensures that the vessel can be safety operation under UMS condition, system, system test and maintenance records. Another critical requirement for UMS operation is the proper documents of all testing, inspection, and maintenance carried out on the ship, monitoring, alarm, and control system. These records serve as evidence that the vessel automation been identified and addressed. Keep detailed record allows injuries and inspection to trace system performance over time, over time before seriously problems occur. During audits or port state inspection, these documents also provide proof the vessel maintenance compliance with safety standards.
Certification process and authority. Certification process authority. Ships must comply with international conventions like SOLAS, MARPOL, STCW, and national laws. Process includes construction approval, initial survey before service, periodic surveys like annuals, intermediates, renewal, and certificate insurance confirming compliance and seaworthiness. The certification process and authority plays a central role in ensuring safety, compliance, and environmental protection in the maritime industry. Shipping is a highly regulated sector, and international convention under the International Maritime Organization or IMO establish standards that every vessel must meet. To guarantee compliance with these standards, ships must undergo a certification process carried out by authorized bodies. The certification process refers to the structured procedure by which a ship is equipment and its operations are examined, verified, and documented to ensure compliance with international and national regulations. This process typically involves several stages: an application by the ship owner, inspections, and surveys by qualified survivors, verification of compliance with safety and pollution prevention standard, and finally, the insurance of certificate that proves the ship's seaworthiness and adherence to international convention. Certificate is not one-time requirements. Ship must undergo initial, annual, intermediate, and renewal surveys throughout their operational life to maintain valid certification. This process demonstrates the ship is not only fit for services but also the country of registry has legal authority to enforce international rules, issue statutory certificates, and ensure safety, environmental, and labor compliance. Often delegate survey works to recognized organizations. In the maritime industry, the certification process and authority of the flag state form the backbone of international compliance and safety and environmental protection. Every ship that sails the world ocean must be registered under a particular country, known as the flag state. This state assumes responsibility for ensuring the ships its flag meet requirements of international convention, national law, and technical standards. The certification process is the formal procedure through which a ship is surveyed, inspected, and verified to comply the regulations. This includes checking the ship's structure, equipment, crew condition, and operational system to ensure that they meet the standard established by international conventions such as the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, International Convention of the for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, MARPOL, and the Maritime Labor Convention, MLC. When a ship is found to be complaint statutory, certificates are issued as proof. These certificates include documents such as the Safety Construction Certificates, International Oil Pollution Prevention Certificate, Safety Management Certificate, and others, each service each serving as evidence that the ship fulfills specific legal and technical Class Society, independent body technical standards for ship design and maintenance, often class certificates and often act on behalf of flag states to perform statutory surveys and issue statutory certificates.
documents during inspection and audits. Kapag may inspection o audit sa barko, ang pinakaunang tinitingnan ng mga inspector ay ang mga document at certificates. Bakit? Kasi ito ang patunay na ang barko at crew ay sumusunod sa lahat ng international convention, flag state rules, at company policies. Madaling salita, parang walang ebidensya na safe, compliant at legal ang operation ng barko. First is proof of compliance. Ito ang pinaka-basic at mahalaga. Nandito yung mga certificates na nagpapatunay na sumusunod ng barko sa mga batas tulad ng SOLAS or Safety of Life at Sea, MARPOL, or Marine Pollution Prevention. Pati na rin ang rules ng flag state at internal company policies. Kung kulang ito, automatic na red flag sa inspector kasi ibig sabihin hindi secure o hindi legal ang barko. Pangalawa, transparency and accountability. Lahat ng activities sa barko tulad ng maintenance, safety drills at regular inspection ay nakatala. Ang purpose nito ay para ma-clear record kung sino ang responsible at kung kailan ginagawa ang isang aksyon. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang basta gawa, kundi dapat may dokumento na nagpapatunay. Nakakatulong din ito para maiwasan ang pagtakip ng pagkakamali at para maging fair sa lahat. Pangatlo, continuity. Ang mga documents ay nagsisilbing history ng barko. Dito makikita kung alin ang naayos na, kung may nauulit na problema, o kung consistent pa ang maintenance at operasyon. Para itong medical record ng barko. Kung walang history, mahirap i-track ang kondisyon at magiging mas risky ang operasyon. Pang-apat, legal protection. Kapag may dispute, accident o violation, ng mga documents at certificate ang maging ebidensya para ipakita na ginawa ng barko at crew ang kanilang obligasyon. Halimbawa, kung may pollution incident, pwedeng gamitin ang pollution prevention certificate at oil record book para ipakita na compliant at sila at hindi sila negligent. Panglima, continuous improvement. Hindi lang basta proof. Ginagamit din ang documents para makita ang recurring issues. Kung paulit-ulit ang problema, makikita agad at pwedeng gumawa ng preventive action. Sa ganitong paraan, hindi lang compliance at ang goal, kundi long-term safety at efficiency ng barko. Detention due to missing invalid certificates. Sa shipping industry, napaka-importante ng complete at valid certificates. Kapag kulang, expired o mali ang certificates, pwedeng ma-detention ng barko. Ang detention ay yung paghinto ng barko para hindi ito makapaglayag hanggat hindi naayos ang problema. Ang epekto nito ay delays, dagdag gastos, at masamang record para sa kumpanya. Ito ang iba't ibang klase ng certificate na critical sa barko. First is Safety Certificate or SOLAS. Ito ang patunay na ligtas ang barko para maglayag. Kapag missing o expired ito, automatic na unsafe ang tingin sa barko at pwedeng hindi ito papayagang magpatuloy sa biyahe. Pangalawa, Load Line Certificate. Ito naman ang proof na ang barko ay stable at seaworthy. Nakasaad dito kung hanggang saan lang pwedeng kargahan ng load ang barko. Kapag kulang o invalid ito, delikado ang stability ng vessel at posibleng magresulta sa aksidente. Pangatlo, Pollution Prevention Certificates or MARPOL. Nakasentro ito sa compliance laban sa oil spill, sewage discharge at air pollution. Kung wala ito, hindi mapapatunayan ng barko na environmentally safe ang kanilang operasyon. Pang-apat, ISM or ISPS certificates. Ito ay para sa safety management system at security plan ng barko. Mahalaga ito para siguraduhin na may proper procedures ang barko pagdating sa safety at security laban sa piracy, terrorism o iba pang threats. Panglima, crew certificate or STCW and medical. Hindi lang barko ang may certificates, dapat lahat ng crew ay may valid license at updated medical certificates. Kapag may isang seafarer na kulang ang documents, pwedeng maging basehan ito ng detention. In short, kung complete at valid ang lahat ng documents, magiging smooth ang inspection, mabilis ang clearance, at safe ang operasyon ng barko. Pero kung kulang o invalid ang documents, siguraduhin magkaroon ng detention, delay, at bad record para sa kumpanya na mauuwi sa dagdag gastos at damage sa reputasyon.